The poems which do not have rhyme scheme, you call it as the free verse poems, or you also call it as zero verse poems. Who bakes the other bread of justice? Who does it? It is the common people who can do that. The repetition of same words in consecutive lines. So such usage, that figure of speech or literary device, is called as anaphora. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shalini, Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Today we are here to understand one of the poems prescribed by University of MYSURU for 2nd Sem B.C.A. We are going to understand about the bread of people. This poem is written by Bertolt Brecht. So this is a wonderful poem. It is actually a kind of satire to human society. So let us see what is there in today's session. In today's session, we are going to understand about the poet first, then we'll understand the theme. We'll next move on to the summary of the poem. We'll understand the literary devices. Then if at all there are any new words, we are going to understand the meaning of that also. So let us start with the introduction of the poet. The poet Bertolt Brecht was a German theatre practitioner, and he was also a playwright and a poet. So he was too much into theatre. Over here you can observe. He has also given significant contribution to political and social philosophy. So most of his poems were actually philosophical. This poem also is one such example. So let us see what is the theme of this poem. So the theme of this poem is that this poem talks about justice for the human needs. So the poet compares bread to justice that human needs here. And you can observe that he compares bread to justice because justice is as important as bread is to any human's life. So that is what he compares over here. So let us start with the summary of the poem here. Justice is the bread of the people. Sometimes is plentiful, sometimes it is scarce. Sometimes it tastes good, sometimes it tastes bad. When the bread is scarce, there is hunger. When the bread is bad, there is discontent. So first thing you need to observe is that it has no rhyme scheme. Okay, it has no rhyme scheme. So the poems which do not have rhyme scheme, you call it as the free verse poems, or you also call it as zero verse poems. Okay, so this poem is also written in free verse. I mean to say it is written in zero verse. So next we'll move on to the summary. Justice is the bread of people. So bread is required by people. It is a basic necessity of any person's life, isn't it? So similarly, justice is also a person's basic necessity, can be considered. Sometimes it is plentiful, sometimes it is scarce. So here the poet repeats the word sometimes in the same line. So repetition of words in the same line, it is called as repetition only. Okay, so if it is repeated in two different lines, that is in consecutive lines, such usage, so this usage is called as anaphora. That means the repetition of same words in consecutive lines. So such usage, that figure of speech or literary device is called as anaphora. So here he tells that sometimes the bread is plentiful, means justice is abundant, justice is offered everywhere, justice is given everywhere. Sometimes it is scarce, sometimes you do not get justice at all. Sometimes it tastes good. So sometimes when justice is given very well, it tastes good. Okay, sometimes if at all you have not done any mistake and you get justice, then that actually tastes very good. Sometimes it tastes bad. For people who have done a mistake and they get justice, justice is given and they are on the wrongdoing, they are given some sentence, or maybe they are awarded some imprisonment or something like that, that time justice tastes bad. When the bread is scarce, that means when justice is not given, that time there is hunger. That means he tells that bread is scarce, that means there is hunger. That means when there is no bread that is available, when justice is not available, that times there is hunger. I mean to say, that is the poet wants to say that hunger he compares to life. So there is no quality of life. That means the quality starts deteriorating. That means everybody, they are dissatisfied. Hunger he compares to dissatisfaction when it comes to life. Then when the bread is bad, there is discontent. When the justice is bad, okay, justice is not good, that means good people are being imprisoned, then there is discontent. Then the people are not ready to accept that. There is discontent. They start rejecting that judgment. Throw away the bad justice, baked without love, needed without knowledge. Justice without flavor, with a grey crust. The stale justice which comes too late. If the bread is good and plentiful, the rest of the meal can be excused. So here he is talking about the justice being offered, that justice being provided to the people at right times. Throw away the bad justice. That means he is advising the people to renounce bad justice. That means whenever there is no good that is happening, you need to oppose that, is what the poet is trying to say. Baked without love, that means this justice is given without love. Needed without knowledge. Needing is something wherein you do that preparing of the dough for preparation of any bread or maybe chapati or whatever it is, you prepare dough, right? So preparation of dough needs lot of kneading, means you need to keep on mixing it. Okay, so justice also has to be like that only. It has to be needed with knowledge. That means a person, if he is a knowledgeable person, then that person can give a better justice, is what the poet is telling over here. So a person giving justice should be knowledgeable. He should know a lot of things, then only he will be able to deliver proper justice. Justice without flavor, that means justice given without any good intention or anything like that, without any flavor, then that means with grey crust. Means he's talking about a layer that develops when you keep something for a long time. It's a kind of mold that develops on the layer. So if you keep the dough that is prepared for a longer time, maybe 1 or 2 days, grey layer, that is what it develops. So that makes the dough very stale. Similarly, justice also, if at all you keep it for a long time, I mean to say you deliver the justice too late. Some justice that comes too late, it is actually of no use at all. A person may be waiting for justice and he may have lost his life only. After justice comes, maybe that person doesn't get his life back, isn't it? That person cannot be brought back to life. So justice should be given on time, isn't it? So justice should always come on time. If the bread is good and plentiful, if at all the bread can be considered as the most meager part of a meal, the least part of a meal. Maybe the person starts the meal with the bread and maybe the other part of the meal he may have a very sumptuous meal. So here, if the bread is good and plentiful, means whatever you offer the people, whatever the least thing only you offer to the people, if that is plentiful or if that is of a good quality, means the justice what you're offering to the people should be good, means it should be of a good quality. That means a knowledgeable person can give a better justice. Okay, so if at all he gives a good justice and if it is plentiful, means if you give it abundantly, if you give justice to all the people who have not committed any mistake, if you improve the quality of the society, then the rest of the meal can be excused. Even if a bread is given in a large quantity, if it fills the stomach of the people over there, the rest of the meal can be excused. Then the people are ready to let go of the rest of the meal. Whatever comes later can be excused, is what the poet is telling over here. As daily bread is necessary, so is daily justice. It is even necessary several times a day. From morning till night, at work enjoying oneself. At work, which is an enjoyment. Here you can see again, enjoy, the word is repeated over here. Okay, so necessary is also repeated over here. Daily is also repeated, but all are done in separate, in different lines, that is in consecutive lines. So which figure of speech do you consider this as? It is anaphora. Repetition of words in consecutive lines. So that is called as anaphora. So here, as daily bread is necessary. Yes, bread is necessary every day. Okay, so similarly, daily justice also. So everyday justice is very important, isn't it? It is even necessary several times a day. Not that you need bread only once in a day, isn't it? You eat at least 3 to 4 times a day, sometimes 5 also if the quantity of bread is less. Okay, similarly, justice also. It cannot be had only once in a while. It is not required once in a day. Everywhere you go, justice is very important. You go to a school, there should be just knowledge that should be given. Justice doesn't mean that it has to be sorted out on a criminal matter or anything like that. Justice should be given. Suppose I'm a teacher, I give justice to the work what I do, so there justice can be seen. Suppose you are a student, you come to study here, you have to do it wholeheartedly. Again, that is also a justice that you give for your studies to your parents, isn't it? Your parents give you all the facilities, that is the justice they are giving it to you. So justice can be seen in various other aspects in everybody's life. Okay, so here also justice is needed in every aspect of life, and that can be seen several times a day. Then from morning till night at work, from morning till night justice is needed. He is comparing that to bread. From morning till night you need bread, isn't it? You need to survive, you need to be alive, so you need to eat bread. Similarly, justice also. From morning till night you need justice. At work also you need, and when you're enjoying also you need justice, isn't it? When you're enjoying, you can't say that I'm tense so I cannot enjoy. No, when you enjoy a lot, isn't it? So whenever you are enjoying or you are offering something at work, you do it wholeheartedly. That means you are giving justice to whatever you are doing. So from morning till night there is justice, maybe at work or maybe at the enjoyment place, wherever it is justice what works over here. Okay, so you don't need bread probably, but you need to give justice over there. So here you can observe that author compares bread, which is very much necessary, to justice, which is also very much necessary in hard times and in happy times. So do you feel that hard times, yes, I'm not able to offer my full, so I can steal, or I can, if I don't have bread I can steal, or maybe if I don't have money I can go and get it from somebody, something like that? No, whenever it is hard times or in happy times, you need to be the same. So let me read this stanza here. In hard times and in happy times, people requires the plentiful, wholesome daily bread of justice. Since the bread of justice then is so important, who friends shall bake it? So here he is talking about different times at which you may have to let go of justice, but you cannot do that. Even if you are in your hard times, even if you are in happy times, you eat bread, isn't it? That means you consume food. Like that only you should be just over there. You should be very loyal to whatever you are doing. Whatever you are doing, you will do it wholeheartedly, isn't it? Be it happy times, be it hard times. The people requires the plentiful, wholesome daily bread of justice. So not only bread, at any point of time, people will require it plentiful. If you are undergoing some problems, probably you will eat less. But even at that time, you see to that your stomach is full. You will see to your filling of stomach only. That means you need plentiful. You need your bread plentiful, wholesome, daily bread of justice. Again, that time also justice is very much important. Okay, since the bread of justice then is so important, so even at all point of time he is talking about, he is combining everything. Then is so important. This then has all the times into consideration: happy times, hard times, or maybe at work or at enjoyment. So all the aspects of life he considers. So if that is so important, if this bread of justice is so important, which is required at all times of life, in all aspects of life, that means who, friends, shall bake it? Who is going to prepare that bread? Who is going to give justice to us, is what the poet is asking. See, something which is very important, it has to be available all the time. It has to be provided all the time to everybody. So who is going to bake this for large number of people? Who is going to bake it at all times, is what the poet is trying to ask people over here. So as I told you, you can see the repetition, that is anaphora. Then you can also see the repetition of the sounds also in many places, you can see. Okay, so all that come under different figures of speech. So the poet is asking, who is going to give that justice all the time? Who bakes the other bread? like the other bread, the bread of justice must be baked by the people, plentiful, wholesome, daily. So here he is talking about the other bread. Now he comes to the actual bread. Actual bread in the sense the people who eat it. The bread that is consumed by people. He is talking about like the other bread. Here he uses simile. Okay. The word like shows that it is simile. Okay, this is a figure of speech, that is literary device. Who bakes the other bread like the other bread means the person who is baking the other bread like that only, he's a common man, right? The bakery person, the person who bakes it, the baker is actually a common man who bakes the bread. Similarly, who bakes the other bread of justice? Who does it? It is the common people who can do that. Okay, the bread of justice must be baked by the people. So even this bread of justice has to be baked by the people only. How it should be? It should be plentiful, it should be wholesome, it should be daily. Means every person should be loyal, every person should be honest is what the poet is trying to say. That means what contribution you give to the society. It's not that one person is fixed to give justice. No, that is not the case. Every person should be just by nature. So person who is just only can give justice to other people. That means whatever you are doing, you do it loyally. So that makes people just, that makes people only give justice. That means the bread of justice can be baked by the common people only, like the baker who is a common man who bakes the bread for the people in the bakery. Okay. So as we saw the three different literary devices, one is anaphora, that is repetition of words. So we have seen this literary device, okay, repetition of words in consecutive lines. Consecutive is the next line, okay, the consecutive lines. This is anaphora. Then enjambment, the sentence starts over here, it ends somewhere in the middle, and again the next sentence starts over here. Okay, so this is enjambment. This is usually seen in free verse. I told you before only. In the beginning, the second stanza, we saw this enjambment. And the last one is alliteration. As I said, repetition of same sounds. It can be consonant or maybe vowels. It can be the repetition of same sounds in the beginning of the words. Okay, it should be always in the beginning. Then only it is considered as alliteration. So these are the literary devices that are used in this poem. Hope you have understood the summary and the literary devices. What I suggest you, please read the poem. Before that, please watch this video which acts like a guide for you to read the poem and understand it better. So let us meet again with another more interesting topic. Till then, keep learning. Thank you for your time. Let us meet shortly. Bye-bye. Take care.